was Christmas Eve, and the small town of Evergreen Falls was cloaked in a thick blanket of snow. The streets glistened with the soft glow of twinkling lights, and the air was filled with the infectious cheer of the holiday season. But little did the townsfolk know that something sinister lurked beneath the surface, waiting to turn their joy into terror. In the heart of the town stood an old, dilapidated mansion known as Winterbourne Manor. It had been abandoned for decades, rumored to be haunted by the restless spirits of its former occupants. The townspeople avoided the place like the plague, for it was said that those who ventured inside never returned. Among the curious souls drawn to the mansion was young Emily Thompson. She had always been fascinated by the eerie legends surrounding Winterbourne Manor and had made it her mission to uncover the truth. Determined to defy the warnings, she gathered her courage and set foot on the snow-covered path that led to the imposing front doors. As Emily pushed open the creaking entrance, the temperature dropped and a bone-chilling gust of wind swept through the hallway. The air felt heavy with an otherworldly presence. She hesitated for a moment, but pressed on, her heart pounding in her chest. The mansion was frozen in time, its once grand halls now crumbling and decayed. Dust-covered chandeliers swayed eerily overhead, casting distorted shadows on the faded wallpaper. Emily's footsteps echoed through the empty corridors, as if the very house itself was whispering secrets to her. She ventured deeper into the mansion, guided by a faint sound that seemed to emanate from the basement. As she descended the rickety stairs, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. The walls seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, and the air grew thick with an acrid smell. Finally, Emily reached the basement, and what she discovered there froze her in terror. The room was adorned with tattered Christmas decorations, their colors faded and dull. In the center stood a towering Christmas tree, its branches twisted and gnarled like the fingers of a skeletal hand. The ornaments that adorned it were macabre, depicting scenes of death and despair. Suddenly, Emily noticed movement out of the corner of her eye. She turned to see a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness. It was a gaunt, ghostly figure dressed in tattered rags, its face obscured by a hood. The figure beckoned her closer, its voice a haunting whisper in the stillness. "Emily," it hissed, "you have trespassed where you do not belong. The curse of Winterbourne Manor shall claim you." Fear clutched at Emily's heart, but something deep within her refused to back down. She mustered her courage and confronted the specter. "Who are you? What curse?" she demanded. The figure stepped forward, revealing its ghastly visage. "I am the spirit of Charles Winterbourne, the man who once ruled this house. I was consumed by greed, and my lust for wealth drove me to commit unspeakable acts. Now, my soul is trapped within these walls, forever doomed to torment." Emily listened in horror as Charles recounted his tale. He had made a pact with a malevolent entity, trading his soul for untold riches. But in the end, his greed had brought about his downfall, and he was cursed to remain in the mansion, forever tormented by his own avarice. As Charles finished his tale, the room began to shake violently. The walls crumbled, revealing a swirling vortex of darkness. Emily realized that she had to break the curse and release Charles from his eternal suffering. With a determined resolve, she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, worn notebook. "This belonged to my great-grandfather," Emily shouted over the chaos. "He was a powerful medium, and he left behind instructions on how to cleanse haunted places." With trembling hands, she recited the incantation from the notebook, her voice rising above the deafening storm. The words resonated through the mansion, and a blinding light enveloped Charles. He let out a tortured scream as the curse was shattered, and his spirit was finally freed. As the room quieted, Emily found herself standing alone amidst the ruins of Winterbourne Manor. The mansion had returned to its state of decay, but a sense of peace hung in the air. The spirits that had haunted the place were finally at rest. Back in town, the snow continued to fall, but the people of Evergreen Falls could feel a shift in the atmosphere. The legends of Winterbourne Manor would forever be etched into their memories, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can reside even in the most festive of seasons. And as for Emily, she carried the weight of her harrowing experience with her, forever changed by the encounter. Christmas would never be the same for her, but she embraced the newfound appreciation for the light that can pierce through the darkest of nights. Story 2. In a quaint little village named Hollybrook, the Christmas season was always filled with joy and merriment. But this year, a sense of unease hung in the air. The townspeople whispered about a mysterious old doll that had been discovered in the attic of the town's oldest house. The doll, known as Charlotte, had a porcelain face with delicate features and a frilly red dress. Its glassy eyes seemed to follow anyone who dared to look at it. The rumors surrounding the doll grew more sinister with each passing day. One evening, a young girl named Lily received the doll as a gift from her grandmother. Despite the warnings from her parents, she couldn't resist its eerie charm. That night, as Lily slept, she was awakened by faint giggles and the sound of tiny footsteps. Terrified, Lily turned on her bedside lamp and gasped in horror. Charlotte, the doll, had come to life. It danced across the room, its porcelain limbs moving with an unnatural grace. The doll's eyes glowed with an eerie light, and its lips curled into a wicked smile. Lily's heart raced as she watched the doll's haunting performance. She summoned her courage and reached for the doll, determined to banish this nightmare. But as her hand touched Charlotte, a jolt of energy surged through her, paralyzing her body. The doll's voice echoed in Lily's mind, a chilling melody that spoke of loneliness and despair. "I was once a little girl like you," it whispered. "But I made a terrible mistake, and now I am forever trapped in this porcelain prison. Help me, Lily. Help me break the curse." Lily's fear turned to sympathy, and she vowed to free Charlotte from her torment. With the guidance of her grandmother, who possessed ancient knowledge of dark magic, Lily embarked on a perilous journey to unravel the curse that bound the doll. Together, they discovered that Charlotte's curse was the result of a broken promise. Many years ago, a young girl named Amelia had promised to always cherish the doll, but she had abandoned it in the attic, forgotten and unloved. The doll's spirit, filled with anger and betrayal, had cursed itself and all who encountered it. Lily and her grandmother performed a complex ritual on Christmas Eve, rekindling the love and compassion that had been lost. As the final words of the incantation were spoken, a blinding light filled the room. When Lily opened her eyes, she found herself holding a lifeless porcelain doll. The curse had been broken, and Charlotte's spirit had been set free. Lily could still feel a presence, but it was one of gratitude and peace. The doll's legacy would forever serve as a reminder to honor promises and never forsake those we love. Story 3. In the remote village of Silverpine, a thick layer of snow covered the landscape, transforming it into a winter wonderland. The villagers eagerly anticipated the annual Christmas Eve sleigh ride, a tradition that had been passed down for generations. But this year, a chilling twist awaited them. As darkness fell, the villagers gathered at the town square, bundled up in warm coats and scarves. The sleigh, adorned with twinkling lights, was pulled by majestic horses whose breath crystallized in the frigid air. The laughter and excitement drowned out the whispers of an old legend that spoke of a ghostly sleigh that appeared only on the coldest of Christmas Eves. As the sleigh ride began, the villagers reveled in the beauty of the moonlit night. But soon, a haunting melody filled the air, accompanied by the sound of jingling bells. The villagers' laughter turned to unease as they realized the legend had come to life. A spectral sleigh emerged from the mist, drawn by ghostly horses with eyes that glowed like embers. The figure at the reins was a skeletal figure, its face hidden beneath a tattered hood. The villagers watched in horror as the ghostly sleigh passed through the solid structures of houses and trees. As the ethereal sleigh drew closer, panic gripped the villagers. They scattered in all directions, seeking refuge wherever they could. But one brave young girl named Anna stood her ground, her eyes filled with determination. Anna approached the ghostly figure, her voice steady. "Who are you? Why do you haunt our village on this sacred night?" The figure turned its hollow gaze toward her and spoke in a voice that carried the weight of centuries. "I am the spirit of Jacob Marlowe, a man who once reveled in the joy of this sleigh ride. But my greed and selfishness led me to a tragic end, and now I am cursed to wander these lands, reliving my sins." Anna's heart swelled with compassion, and she pleaded with Jacob to find redemption. She saw the anguish in his eyes, the longing for release from his eternal torment. With unwavering resolve, she proposed a solution. "Jacob, let me join you on this ghostly sleigh ride," Anna offered. "Together, we can seek forgiveness and amend the wrongs of the past." Jacob hesitated, his skeletal form trembling. The weight of his sins bore heavily upon him. He extended a bony hand toward her, and with a leap of faith, Anna climbed onto the spectral sleigh. The villagers watched in awe as the sleigh disappeared into the night, leaving behind a trail of shimmering snowflakes. Anna and Jacob embarked on a journey through time and space, revisiting pivotal moments where Jacob's greed had caused harm. With each stop, Anna encouraged Jacob to confront his past and make amends. They mended broken relationships, righted injustices, and offered forgiveness. The ghostly sleigh became a vessel of redemption, carrying the spirit of Jacob toward his long-awaited salvation. As dawn broke on Christmas morning, the villagers gathered once more at the town square. A gentle snowfall dusted the ground, but the ghostly sleigh was nowhere to be seen. A somber silence settled upon the crowd, their hearts heavy with uncertainty. Suddenly, a burst of light erupted from the sky, and the ghostly sleigh materialized before their eyes. Jacob, no longer a skeletal figure, sat proudly at the reins, his face transformed into one of peace and serenity. Anna, by his side, radiated a warmth that touched the hearts of all who beheld her. The villagers erupted in cheer and applause, recognizing the power of forgiveness and redemption. The legend of the ghostly sleigh would forever be etched in their memories as a testament to the transformative power of love and compassion. From that day forward, the annual Christmas Eve sleigh ride in Silver Pine took on a new meaning. It became a celebration of unity, forgiveness, and the triumph of the human spirit. As the villagers rode through the snowy landscape, they carried within them the spirit of Jacob Marlowe, a reminder of the importance of second chances and the enduring magic of Christmas.